working. What I consider my studio practice, and then the public participatory projects. The studio work is often based on a lot of ideas around origin, both sort of hereditary and also thinking about place of origin and homeland and country and earth and all of that sort of thing, and it's connected a lot with biology. The participatory work are ways of exploring aspects of interaction that I think would be helpful for us to have more of in the world. There's actually a couple different bodies of work in the studio right now. I tend to do a lot of different things at once. The work that's on the wall is from a series called Eyes Like Black Cherries, Egelach wie die schwarze Karschlech, which is a Yiddish expression. And it's in a couple of traditional klezmer songs describing the sort of love in the song and describing how beautiful she is by saying that her eyes are as dark as black cherries. I had done a series previously using foods as drawing materials, and then connecting with patterns from the body, from biological tissues. So those drawings are drawn with black cherry juice on vellum, and they're based on the patterns from my iris. So I was photographing my own eye and then kind of abstracting a pattern from the lines in my iris. They're offering a sort of point of reflection on, the meaning of vision from the viewer of the piece of art as well as from myself as the artist. And then also just that way of working, that repetitive, pattern-based way of working is something that's just incredibly satisfying to me. So I'm always sort of looking for new ways of working in that way. I had been painting for years, and the paint didn't feel important to me anymore. So I just really made a decision to work with the materials that felt that they could carry meaning. The pieces on the table, they're drawn with my blood on paper that has olive oil kind of soaked into it. Can you see that? The difference in the paper? And it actually was Palestinian olive oil. So basically it's Jewish blood and Palestinian olive oil on paper. That's sort of this conceptual basis just behind the materials of the piece. But I don't think of them as having a particular, really strong statement that they're making other than those materials. So kind of leaving it up to the viewer a little bit, just about the combination of those two materials in the piece. So these photographs are from the listening station, which is a project that I actually developed as I was finishing my graduate program at Brooklyn College. I really wanted to have part of what I do have a more clear function, and have a function that would kind of have an effect in the social world, and a sort of a political effect as well. So two people sit, they decide who goes first, they take the same amount of time, and one person speaks and the other listens, and then they switch. So it's very simple. There's not any instruction on what you should talk about. The listener is really there to listen. So that's really sometimes the hardest thing for people, is to figure out, well, what do I do when I'm listening? Do I look like I'm listening like this? Do I nod a lot? But I really don't give any instruction on that either. I want people to kind of figure out for themselves in that moment, what does listening mean? The two people will bring to it whatever is going on. So when you're using it with a stranger, it's a lot about embarrassment. Oh, I'm sitting so close to you. What do we talk about? And that's a big part of the piece to me, is presenting a way of interaction that people would usually just not have at all without this thing being there to use for that purpose. I do think of these as sort of activist projects, in addition to sort of public art pieces. This is just this little tiny neighborhood between Woodland and the tracks, basically. And it really feels like a neighborhood. It really feels like the families on these blocks know each other and have known each other for years. I taught mural arts a few blocks away, and I did get to know the families then, and they were all related, and the cousins all played with each other, and so it really has this kind of close feeling to it. I was living in New York for a couple of years, and when I was done with grad school, I was deciding what to do, and decided to come back to Philly. And a big part of that is that Philly feels like a town where if you want to make something happen, there's space to make it happen, and there are people to come do it with you. It has that kind of feeling of open possibility. I like the fact that there's more opportunities for artists and more artists thinking of Philly as a place that's possible. I just think that the more different kinds of work you have happening in a place, the more that any one person is going to feel like they have the audience that they want and the support that they're going to need. The more artists is good. And more people who want artists and to see art is good.